Here's the Mindful Man reading another chapter of Ghost School. Hope you enjoy it. The head looked over at them and they buried their heads in their coffee and didn't care what he thought. "We need to tell someone," whispered Tom. "That sod is guilty." I can see it on his face. They nodded in agreement. Just then the caretaker walked in wearing his blue overalls. He was 6'4" and large build with a bushy black beard. He was a definite match for the headmaster. They looked at each other and they knew he was the man to help them. "At least he's not a teacher," said Lucy. "True right," said Anne. "We'll have to get him on his own," said James. "I'm up for that," Tom replied enthusiastically. "I know he's got a tool shed. I can chat to him in there." They had a free afternoon and the others drifted off and let Tom devise his plan. He knew that Jack, the caretaker, would be going for a coffee and sandwich at 11 and decided to track him down. Tom hung about waiting for the clock to go round. He was nervous but determined to do something. He waited for the coast to clear and then he walked over to the hut. He knocked on the door and Jack answered. Without missing a beat, Tom told him the whole story. Jack listened intently, occasionally drinking his strong tea and sighing. When Tom had finished, he looked at Jack expectantly. Jack looked angry and he threw his cup against the wall where it shattered. "I knew it," he said. "I've been watching the head for some time. He's a real slippery character. I knew about his affair with the librarian and then she disappeared. I knew it was fishy but no one else cared. They act like he walks on water." Tom couldn't believe that he had an ally. "What can we do?" Tom said breathlessly. "There's no police here and no justice." "I'm not serious," said Jack the caretaker, scratching his beard. "All I know is that we need to stop him doing it again. He's been here longer than anyone can remember, like the bricks in the building." "Maybe he was a shady character on Earth," Tom reasoned. "That's likely," said Jack, "and he's brought his evil nature with him." "I'll keep my eye on him before we formulate a plan," said Jack bravely. Although they didn't have an idea how to stop the head committing more crimes, they knew they had to try. The caretaker promised to keep an eye on him, as he had always been suspicious. Back on Earth, he once had an enjoyable career as an electrician before he was unfortunately electrocuted wiring a faulty socket. He had kept an eye on all the comings and goings of the school, and he had often seen the head and librarian together. Later on, he had always suspected foul play. He had witnessed many of their rows, and he had seen firsthand the head's volcanic temper. Tom and James told the girls, and they thought it was a good idea. They were all convinced of his guilt and were determined to catch him. They watched him walk round the school with his head held high, and it sickened them. Plans were forming, but first they had a lesson to go to. When they got there, the teacher was writing on the blackboard. The chalk dust was falling on her hair and her bright orange blouse. Hope you enjoyed this chapter. Please sub me.